Oh, I'm on? Now? Right now? All right, well, welcome into the little bit of a pre-game show. We're just kind of here hanging out, waiting until everybody else is ready for the actual show. If there's any questions or conversations y'all might want to have, we're just going to be here to hang out, introduce everybody here. All right. All right. How you doing, Mr. Eric? Ryan Sims. Old Fat Boy Jigs himself. How you doing? We are just doing a little pre-game situation. Hanging out until everybody else is ready to get the cast going. Mr. Sims, you said you were bringing us some more Fat Boy Jigs you were speaking of? No pre-game show. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Waiting on everybody to get here. Mr. Lewis, how are you? Got to know how many. Yeah, we'll get you a number here shortly, Mr. Sims. How you doing, David? Just doing a little pre-game show. Just sitting back, relaxing, having a beer while everybody's getting ready. Figured I'd stay here and chat with you guys versus actually just showing you guys a coming soon page. Yeah, one of these days we will actually get with you on numbers and get some backstop. John, yeah, airboat schedule's stacked, as you should know. Mr. Gibson, it's good to see you out fishing today. Old Mr. Ben Murphy, another beautiful day here. Ready to do a little bit of table tackle talk and some Friday night fish talk. Mr. Goocher. If there's any questions anybody has for me before we actually get started, more than welcome to ask them. Yes, we are actually pre-gaming. Hoping those winds settle down by Monday. I'd love to see that, be able to have some calm weather to be able to go out and do some sight casting. Would be special. For anybody that's showing up or just here having conversation, if anybody has any questions, comments, anything to discuss, we are here for it, at least until we get the actual show started. Who actually fished this week? Anybody? Outside of Kerry Gibson, I did see already. Outside of your jig heads, Brian, what weighted hooks are you speaking of? I don't know if I've seen them. Bait situation's looking good. We'll have a fresh batch of shrimp in the morning. We'll have mud minnows for you. We have everything that you may need in frozen aspect. Got plenty of jig heads and tackle that came in, so anything you may need, we'll have it for you. You haven't commented. Maybe it hasn't come up yet. No, it still hasn't come up yet. I better not be up there. What sign am I? You mean like a Taurus? Yeah. Don't forget to like and share. We will be starting the show here shortly. Just here to BS with you guys and discuss anything, any questions you may have for us. Yeah. To be eligible to win for Friday Night Fish Talks giveaways, you do have to like and share. So go ahead and get that done while we're at it. Going on that date you promised. 7 a.m. we'll have shrimp for the second restock. Yes. Yeah, about 7 a.m. that would be perfect. A lot of fishermen hopefully will be here and ready by then. Where you want to go on a date there? Maybe Tuesday. Is my fly open? My fly's closed. Good try, Mr. Perry. Yeah, tides are looking a lot better this week versus last week. We actually have some water for a change. It's a nice thing to see. Got the fish moving though. All right, you guys, we are about to wrap up my little session, get ready for the intro, and so we will be right back here shortly and get ready for Friday Night Fish Talk.
Alrighty everyone, welcome to Friday Night Fish Talk. What did everybody think about our new pregame show with Captain Billy? I know you could sit here and talk with him forever because he could obviously sit here and talk forever. That's what he does. But we're super excited. We have a lot of cool things going tonight. We got Captain Louie over at the Tackle Table Talk presented by Bush Home Services. We're going to be talking about just general fishing, but tonight's theme is the transition from winter fishing into spring and then into summer. So with these seasonal changes, the fish move. That's what they do. It gets warmer, they move out, but that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So Captain Zack's going to have a lot of great information for you. Hey guys, where did Billy go? I can't do this by myself.
No one cares.
Billy! I tell you what, I'm sure he's in the bathroom. While we find Billy, we're gonna play a quick video, and hopefully, can somebody find Billy? Let's just go to commercial. Come on.
Come here, buddy. We're not eating Snook today.
Actually, that was you in the video, wasn't it?
How about that?
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Captain Rick Murphy is our guest host this evening. We actually kicked Billy out to replace him with Captain Rick, but don't worry, Captain Billy will be back in a little bit. Captain Rick, thank you for joining us.
Man, thank you for having me. You know, I love the Homosassa, Crystal River, Ozello area, and it's just so cool to be up here. And I can't wait to hear what you guys are talking about in regards to the transition, you know.
Absolutely, and you and I got to fish together the past few days.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned more about my own area in the past 2 days than I've ever had in my entire life. Very knowledgeable, can't appreciate enough for the opportunity to fish with you. But you got to see firsthand, you know, when you got here it was a little bit cooler weather, and then it warmed up, and then I got the sunburn and it got really hot. So what was some of the stuff that you saw during those transitions just over a couple days?
So, you know, the thing that's so cool about the Gulf of Mexico versus like the East Coast down in South Florida is you got the Gulf Stream that comes in so close. You don't have that luxury here in the Gulf. And the thing that I really saw that I think is so cool is how the mullet are in the areas where all the predators are. And, you know, it's kind of like the plains of Africa with all the gazelles and all the little antelopes for all the lions and tigers. But the thing that's so neat about this time of year is of how you have to adjust your fishing. And this is the type of time of year where you can really build your experience. Because when you have the summertime thunderstorms every day and you don't have, it's pretty easy. You go out in the morning, it's probably a little bit of an offshore breeze here for a little while, and then once the land mass heats up to the same temperature as the water, then you have that slick calm time, and then as the land mass gets a lot hotter, then you have the onshore typical breeze. That's the nature of the Gulf in the late spring and early summer. But if you really want to start to understand redfish and trout, flounder, and snook that you guys have now, lots of snook.
Lots of snook.
And that's one of the reasons why I believe there's so many snook around right now, is because they're keying in on those mullet. And if you notice, there's some mullet are this big, and then there's some that are this big. And then you have the big loping mullet that triggers all of the predators want to eat him. But they can't because that mullet's so big. But I think what I've noticed, we started off on Wednesday. It was 66 degree water, and it got up to 70 during the day, even maybe ticked 71. Now, I'm sure if we go out in the morning, we're going to be in the high 60s.
Yep.
And it's getting into the mid 70s. And that's one of the things you need to adjust to. Remember this, guys, when you're fishing, understand that what the cold front's done, Gary, is that's when you want to decide. Before the cold front, you have cold northerly winds, northwest, northeast. Nighttime temperatures are going to get really cold, and that's going to chill your water. Water that's this deep is going to chill a lot faster than water that's 4 feet deep. So you have to remember, what side are we? Are we on the colder side of the cold front? So then you got to move deep. Your pattern needs to start deep, because those fish are going to retreat to deeper places. And it could be a creek that's 100 yards from their favorite flat.
Yeah.
The other thing that a lot of people don't recognize is when you have bluebird days like we had the last couple days, you get a lot of sun penetration. So during the day, even though we've got big water coming in, incoming tide from 12 o'clock right on into the probably dark, you got to remember that that sun is heating up the flats and heating up the mud. That mud through the nighttime is going to retain heat. So you might find your snook and your redfish are gravitating to those little mud pockets to spend the night in. But the tide's starting to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning. The coldest part of the day is that first hour of daylight. So now you have cold water, shallow water during the coldest part of the temperatures. It explains why the water getting so cool, and we're starting off with cold water temperatures in the middle of or first thing in the morning.
Absolutely.
So you got to adjust to those kind of things. And 3 or 4 days after a cold front's come through and we go to southeast wind or southwest wind like we had yesterday, that helps warm up the place a lot quicker. If you have northerly winds, then that's going to obviously make the temperatures stay cold for a longer period of time because there's not a lot of humidity. And remember this, guys, a snook and a redfish, they really like, warmer temperatures. They really do well. So when you have southeast and high humidity, they're going to have probably a lot better attitude than they do when it's cold first thing in the morning.
Absolutely. So just, I got to throw this out there. What you guys just got in 3 minutes. Now imagine 20 hours, 30 hours. So, I mean, that's very informational. I hope you guys go back and replay that because everything that he just said, that helps you understand the science of fishing. It's not about just going out and finding mullet. It's you taught me the mullet are coming against the current. So, when the mullet are coming against the current, the redfish coming against the current.
Redfish can smell a lot better feeding into the current than they do when the tide's going out and they're going out with it. That's a retreat, and they're usually you see a lot of scooting, versus when he's swimming with those mullet, that mullet's triggering him to want to eat something. He can't eat the mullet, but it doesn't change the fact that he's feeding into the tide. He can smell a whole lot better than he can if he's working downwind or down current.
It makes incredible sense. Now, something else that we got to experience is, just FYI, we break down our county in regions, just like you do on your show, just a lot smaller scale. So our south region is P Pass, Little Homosassa River, south to Chassahuisca. Our central region is Ozello, and then north region is Crystal River all the way to the Barge Canal. And then we have our inland report, which Captain Travis Roberts handles. He's a guide out of a canoe. Very unique, very popular. The kayak fishermen love him. So you and I got to witness 3 of those regions. So we ventured off into Crystal River, real coral bottom, grass, clean water. And then we went across over to Little Homosassa area, and it started getting real milky from the phosphate. And then we went down to Chassahuisca. And all those areas are so different. And I preach about this all the time. Sometimes you have to move. Everyone talks about being patient. The fish are there, they're hungry, or they're not hungry. Move around. Learn how to move around. Florida Marine Tracks is a great example. We're not saying depend on Florida Marine Tracks, but we are saying it's a great tool. What was the biggest difference that you saw, let's say, down south today compared to Ozello?
So I think the big thing is that the water down off of Chassahuisca was not as clear. It was affected. The reason why it wasn't as clear, it was kind of milky, and that was because of the millions of mullet that were invading that area. That, to me, is really a good thing in regards to having the fish there because, one, the mullet is, again, I can't say it enough, it's triggering the bite. But if you ever measure the water temperature in a mullet mud, it's warmer than the clear water.
Really?
Yeah. And that has a tendency to help. And then so when the redfish is in there, he's even more comfortable. A trout's even more comfortable. But they can't see us as easy because, the water's a little bit clearer. So that's, it's like hunting in dawn or dusk, and that's a real good place to be. However, we just didn't seem to really pinpoint all the fish that you'd normally find down there. And maybe they're just not there yet, or maybe they were deeper than where we were fishing. We're fishing in a little Maverick 17 HPXS with a 70 that floats in 5 inches of water. Sometimes I ask myself, are we too shallow? I'm learning by watching all of you guys, the local guys. We saw Louie out there today, and one of the things that I think is really cool is you guys fishing flat bottom big boats, and that tells me that maybe I'm fishing too shallow sometimes in that little boat. So if I lived here, I think I could probably make the adjustment pretty quick, but I wondered if some of our day today we spent too shallow
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
but one never knows. But that's why they call it fishing.
You know, and there was a point today that it felt like it was too shallow wherever we went. Now, the fish don't disappear. This isn't Avengers Endgame. They don't just vanish. They go somewhere. And it goes back to Captain Rick's science of fishing is figuring out. You can't figure out one day. It's multiple days. It's spending a lot of time in the water, a lot of studying, understanding the weather patterns, the pressure systems. So, you know, don't get frustrated. You know, today we got frustrated. I mean,
Yeah.
we were under control. You know, we had a game plan. We had, I think, all the way to Plan Z. So we know exactly what we're doing tomorrow. We're very excited, and just take the time to study your surroundings. And like I said, go back and play this clip over multiple times, because everything that Captain Rick hammered home on is what I got to learn, and I have a feeling I'm going to become a much better fisherman now. So this is what we're going to do. Real quick, guys, we're going to play an awesome video. We got to film with our partners over at Bush Home Services and do some cooking. A nice snook that you caught that video.
Mm-hmm.
And they cooked it on this big green egg. And Captain Zack, who is a cooking enthusiast, got to join Leo for Bush Home Services. So check this video out. It's a few minutes long. It's really fun and great information. And then when you come back, I think Captain Rick's going to join old Lou Bear over here and talk about some tackle on the table.
Nice.
All right, guys, stay tuned. Tell us, what is this beautiful ceramic creature that we're looking at?
This big green egg is really versatile. It's actually three things. It's a grill, it's a smoker, and it's a convection oven. Today we're going to use it as a grill. We're going to be cooking up some snook. It's one of the most forgiving cooking surfaces you can use. It's perfect for novices, and it's perfect for experts.
Anything from fish, chicken, ribs, anything.
You can smoke some ribs on it. You can just flip out a couple pieces, turn around, and start baking some cookies on it.
Too cool. What is it made of? I said ceramic, but is that the actual material?
You got it.
That's
It's made out of ceramic, and that's what makes it so forgiving, is because the whole thing will actually heat up and cook your food from all directions instead of just from the bottom. This is called an egg converter, and actually what it does, it turns it into a convection cooker. So you can flip it like this here, and set it right down inside the egg, and you put your grid on top, and so it'll actually heat it up and take it off the direct flame.
Got it.
That's what turns it into a convection oven.
Okay, so it's coming from the sides, not direct heat on the bottom. That's perfect for snook, probably, right?
It's perfect for anything that you would like want to roast or not have a direct flame on it.
Awesome. Good deal.
So if you wanted to bake a cake even, you would use it just like this. And then you can actually just turn it around, flip it over, and now you got a pizza stone.
Can the average person that lives in Citrus County, you know, we have all these fishermen that come in and out, and they always come in with fresh catch. Where can they go get one of these so they can cook exactly what we're doing today?
At Bush Home Services, Highway 19, Homosassa, we're a platinum egg dealer. So not only do we carry all sizes, we also carry all the accessories, all the charcoal, lighters, you name it, everything.
Is there a certain kind of charcoal that you need to use for the big green egg?
You need to use real lump charcoal, which is going to be real wood. So if you try to use Kingsford or lighter fluid, it's actually going to ruin your egg, because you'll get that taste in the ceramic. And so every food you cook after that will taste like lighter fluid.
Okay.
So you got to use real lump of wood.
Got it. And they can get that lump wood at Bush Home Services.
You can always pick it up there.
Perfect.
And actually, the egg uses much less charcoal than any other, charcoal grill would.
What's your favorite type of fish to cook on the big green egg?
Probably redfish.
Redfish?
I love doing redfish with the skin on, skin down.
Well, too bad 'cause we're cooking snook. So.
I know. I'm not complaining.
So I think Captain Zack's gonna fillet the snook over here, and then you and him are gonna create a masterpiece on this masterpiece. So
I look forward to it.
Leo, I appreciate everything, brother. Thank you.
This is Captain Zack Zacher, your favorite face on Friday Night Fish Talk. Tonight I'm going to be showing you guys how to clean a snook. Alright guys, so here's your snook. I'm right-handed, so I typically start with the head off to the left and the tail off to the right of me like this. All right, basically I'm going to lift this fin. You're going to put your knife in here like that, and you're going to bring it right along the base of the skull all the way to where the knife stops, basically on the spine or the skull. Okay, I come back up here and I come back down to the belly, and so now you got your first cut there. Okay, from there you're going to bring your knife and you're going to run it down the spine like this. Okay, I stop right here, and so you can see in, and you can start seeing the bone in here. I stick my thumb in right here, and then you're going to just slowly make your way all the way down this fish. And when my thumb, I can feel the spine all the way down. So you can see right here, you're not losing much meat. You can hear that knife run along the spine and the bones in there. So that's how you know you're not losing a lot of meat there. So once you've got this cut, you're going to want to go ahead and go all the way through, and then just finish it all the way down the tail, just like that. Okay, at this point, move back up towards the head, and you're going to start cutting all the way down until you feel that spine in there. You can actually hear that knife dragging over it. Okay, all the way down, and so you can see the spine there now, and then you're just going to come all the way through to the other side like that. Move back up towards the head, and there's some pin bones in there you're going to have to drag your knife through. At that point, you just cut it straight down, and you've got a good piece of meat right there. Now, that's typically the easiest part of the process. The hardest part of the process for a lot of people is going to be getting the skin off these fish. Snook, you want to get the skin off. Their nickname used to be soap fish, and it's because if you cook them with the skin on, the meat will actually taste like soap. All right, so basically what I do here, you're going to start at the tip of the tail, angle your knife towards yourself, make sure not cut yourself, cut in, and then spin your knife and cut back that way. Okay, and I do that so I can take my hand and I can hold this fillet, and now you're just going to run that knife down the skin and wiggle the skin at the same time, and now you have a beautiful snook fillet, just like that. And then the last process is going to be getting these bones out. Okay, so the way I cleaned it, there's rib bones still on there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and cut those ribs out. Now the second part is you're going to run your fingers along right inside here, and there's pin bones that are going diagonally through the fish. So you're going to want to take your knife, angle it again towards yourself, cut one strip like that, and then cut your second strip like this. And so you take this one little piece of meat out which has those bones in it. And at that point, you got yourself a nice snook fillet. Last process, just hit it with the hose. It's good to go. The best part about this is now these babies are going right to the big green egg.
Hey guys, Captain Louie here with Tackle Table Talk presented by Bush Home Services. Like Gary said, we're going to talk a little bit about the transition from wintertime into springtime, summertime fishing. As a charter guy, you know, we don't fish a ton of artificials. We like to fish a lot of bait, which is great for our area, and it's great for Ozello. The best part about it is Ozello Keys Marina always has bait. And the second best part about it is you really don't need a whole lot of tackle when you're targeting these redfish or snook, or really or trout, in Ozello or in Crystal River or in Homosassa. Most of the time, a J-hook, a simple 4.0 mustad J-hook is going to be your go-to. You're going to want to use pinfish, you're going to want to use mud minnows, you're going to want to use cut mullet, cut ladyfish, big chunk bait, This time of year, the pinfish have invaded the flats. You can be running along, you'll look down, and there will be a shimmer in the water. A lot of times that's just pinfish. So what we're going to use a lot of the times is going to be just that. Like Rick was saying, your mullet are feeding into the tide, just your same as your redfish. So we like to throw our pinfish right into the tide, let them filter down into the mullet, right there where the redfish are at. We're going to switch over to the GoPro here real quick. I'm going to show you how we hook these things. I like to hook them in the tail, just above the anal fin, if we can see that just right. That way he's swimming down into the tide. A lot of times freaking out, triggering that bite. As you can see right there, you got a lot of hook exposed. Really good for a really good hook set. That's your pinfish hookup. I do that same thing with a mud minnow, same concept. I like to fish a mud minnow up against the banks a little bit more, maybe under the bushes just a little bit more. For some reason, those mud minnows love to get up under the mangrove roots, and that's where sometimes those big redfish can be. Something else we're going to talk about as far as the best way or the smartest way to use a popping cork. A lot of people don't use a lot of these. A lot of people do. Something that I was taught a long time ago is that putting a shot of 25 pound, 20 pound, most of the time you use fluorocarbon just because you have it. Put fluorocarbon at the top above your popping cork and below your popping cork. So the reason for that being, you put braid straight to your popping cork. A lot of times when you're casting, that braid will get caught up or get wrapped around this little loop here in your, can we see it here? Get wrapped around in your the loop here on your popping cork. Obviously, if you get a big fish, that braid is going to pop a lot easier than this fluorocarbon or mono will, just because of that strength there. Same thing at the bottom. I tie a uni knot to both sides, as we can see there. Then about another 1.5 feet of fluorocarbon leader back down to a J hook. You can pop back now. There you go. Back down to a J hook, hooking the pinfish just the same way. That way he's sitting in that tide. Watch that thing go down. When it goes down real tight, and you got him on. Just like that, fluorocarbon on each side. Try it out next time. I promise it'll work. Another little thing that's been put in front of me lately are these fish bites. I don't really know much about them, but I think I know someone that does. Rick, do you want to come over here and talk to me about this? I'm not a big Fish Bites Fight Club guy.
So Louis, I just want to know one thing, man.
Sure.
When do we get paid for all this?
I keep asking Gary all the time. There's never a check in the mail, nothing.
Nothing.
No.
All right, well, I guess we're going to make him buy pizza, but I promise we're going all in. Meat lovers, here we come.
There we go.
So let's talk a little bit about fish bites,
about
Louis. So I started using fish bites. When were you born?
95.
I started using fish bites in 1989 over in Walker's Cay. So they're not a new company. They've been around a long time. Back then, they made these little triangle shaped sponges that we would put on a bucktail jig, and we would throw them on the reefs, and we'd catch yellowtails and triggerfish and porgies and all of these fish that primarily feed by smell. So the guys at Fish Bites, they were in that category for a long time, and now recently what they've done is they've created this fight club, and it's now shapes. They're not a lot of glittery colors, you know, like you typically get from other plastic companies. But what they do is, this is a formula that allows them to create this shape just like the stuff that is the sponge. The sponge is like a screen that you would have in a window. And they put this gel on both sides of the screen. I've had swordfish on fish bites.
Really?
We cut it in the shape of like of a dolphin belly, drop it down in 1,700 feet of water, and
Wow.
get a bite.
That's crazy.
Now smell that, Louis. I want to
I
tell
can
you.
smell it from here, Rick.
So it smells like instant potatoes, and if you,
Oh, yeah.
you know, if you want, you know, you can taste it. It really tastes a lot like it's sweet.
Sweet.
So I think the reason why the fish like it is because one, it smells really good. Number two, it really is sweet. But as this is in the water, the longer it sits in the water, it starts to dissolve and break down, and that
Okay.
creates even more
Of
smell.
course, yeah.
And just like one of their competitors, if you leave it on the hook overnight, it dries out,
Yep.
and then you got to cut it off with a knife.
For sure.
But they make my favorite color shrimp is called the hammer fist. It's kind of an off-white with a lot of little red veins, has a pink little tint. And the way we fish them is you can rig them weedless, or you can put a small jig head. I don't like to hop it. It works really well when the fish are difficult, and when when you need to make your presentation
Right.
slow.
Yeah.
So I just kind of swimming along the bottom, and the little legs, look at how it doesn't take much, but the
Oh, yeah.
little legs are vibrating because they face forward, and as the water goes across them, they're actually doing this.
For sure. Let's put that under the GoPro just so everyone can see real quick.
Well, here, let's put one that has a tail, because I'm
Yeah.
over here eating the
Yeah, I
tail.
was about to say.
Now,
Everyone
if you-
did see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right here. It's like a piece of chewing gum. Now, the one thing I want to point out, Louis, if you notice on the top of the bait, there's actually the fin parts
Oh,
of
yeah.
the tail. So that's how you know this is the top. So you would thread this on a
Okay.
jig head. This would be the top. The hook would be coming out of the top.
For sure.
If you're using the weedless screw lock, you screw into the nose, and then the weedless would come under here.
Huh. How
They-
about that?
I love them for sight fishing when you got a chance to see a fish, throw it past them, and just slide it over there to them.
Yeah.
And it's a thump.
How about that? I bet it is. I'm gonna try it tomorrow for sure.
Well, I got plenty, so
Yeah.
come over to the truck when we get done,
For sure.
before the meat lovers gets there.
That's right.
You cool?
Have you ordered that yet?
Yeah.
Meat lovers?
lovers?
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Thank you.
So what else you want to talk about?
I think we're going to talk a little bit about Florida Marine Tracks, correct? I run it. I'm sure you run it. I run it on a Lowrance. I have a Simrad on my other boat. I run it on that. You can run it on a Ray Marine as well. It's something that has absolutely changed the way I fish, especially this time of year. You know, a lot of times we focus on hard bottom areas this time of year. The fish, the mullet, you know, the snook, they all love that hard bottom. But the best part about it is they love that hard bottom next to a little bit deeper pocket. So you can find good spots, but you can find great spots. And you can find great ways to get there without destroying your lower unit. But as you can see, we've got a little Lowrance right here. This is what Gary's running right now. A little bit bigger screen. It helps to be able to see that stuff a little bit better, a little bit more detail. I run a 9-inch. This is a 9-inch. I would recommend a 9 or a 12. It's just a little bit better. You can just see a lot better. A 7 sometimes is just a little too small. But that's what we're at right now. We'll be back next week on Tackle Table Talk, and we'll be around for the rest of the show.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Rick.
See you, bud.
These fabled waters are home to monster tarpon, giant bonefish, and more lower units than you can shake a 10-weight at. But thanks to Florida Marine Tracks high-resolution imagery, 100% true-to-life marker and hazard ID, and reliable navigation tracks, you can navigate even the most treacherous waters and still arrive in one piece. Florida Marine Tracks. Clarity in navigation.
I can't hear anything out of my left, so we probably ought to put it in the right.
All right, so yeah, go ahead and take a seat. Come on. You replaced Billy. Just remember that.
Somebody
all
better turn me up. I can't hear shit.
right? All right. So what we're gonna do now? First of all, awesome segment.
That was great.
Great. We are gonna carry fish bites. I think they're gonna come in Monday or Tuesday.
Awesome.
Really excited about it. It's a great company, and they own their own product, right? So they don't have to deal with a lot of these companies have multiple products, great companies, but Fish Bites is Fish Bites.
Fish Bites is created, they're up in the northeast region of Florida in Jacksonville, and they have a new retail store up there as well. So what's cool about Fish Bites is this company is owned and operated by the Carr family, and their father created all of this cool stuff for redfish and snook and everything on how they could feed them. So, and all the different things that the scientific approach to what a redfish triggers him to bite, what triggers a trout to bite and a flounder to bite. And that's how Fish Bites became.
Wow.
So,
You turned me on to them.
yeah, man, they work.
Seriously, when you broke him out, I'm not gonna lie. When you broke him out, I said, oh man, so he uses gulp, huh? All right. And then you're catching snook, you're catching trout, you're catching redfish, and I'm in the back with, with my typical bait that I usually use, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna try one of these. And all of a sudden, I started catching snook, I started catching redfish, I started catching trout. Big fan of them, and they're hardy. They're not like a gulp, where a gulp.
I did a Sportsman Adventure show over in the Bahamas, and we caught 5 bonefish, 2 mutton snappers, and a triggerfish on 1 fish bite shrimp.
One.
And I mean, we have
God.
that as part of the show, the durability of how great they are, So, yeah, they work really good. See, you like the way it tastes, Louis? Not bad. It's not so bad.
So, all right. So what we're gonna do is, I've got Captain Travis's. He's our inland guide, focused on kayaking, paddling. Then I'm gonna read his report. I'm gonna read Captain Matt's report. It actually covers the South region where we fished a little bit today, and then you and I are gonna chit chat with Captain Zack on the video. That's that ugly guy on the bottom there.
That guy's so pretty.
So, all right. So let's start with Captain Travis Roberts from Happy Place Adventures. So, he sent me about 1 million photos. All right, so Captain Travis, again, he concentrates on the inland report. So any of you kayakers out there, pay attention. Pay attention, and also give him a call. He's a super friendly guy. He does training sessions for kayakers and paddlers. He's going to really help improve your game. So the Ozello Inshore Backwaters Report. Cover lots of water. All right, the reason why he's saying cover lots of water is because it's starting to get warm. Those fish are moving out of the backcountry, like the reason we talked earlier. Use jerk baits, spoons, top water early morning. Drift bank lines and bars. Keep moving. Gigging last week showed me we were at about 10 snook to every redfish. We saw that in the back. So you're going to want to focus on them and work on getting that reaction strike until the red's filling around the mangroves and that bite picks up. Make your way to the outer islands. If you want reds, then focus on those outside islands, the mangroves, the flowing water. Look for the change in the next few weeks. So we're going to show some of Captain Travis's photos during the Catch of the Week segment. Now, Captain Matt, he's just went through back surgery, so he will not be live with us tonight. He's still recovering from that. Captain Matt spoke to some of his friends down in Chassahowiska. All right, they are saying that since it started warming up the last few days, to focus on the river, the mouth of the river area. That's a fresh water flow coming out of the spring, 72-degree water. So he's saying where the big drop-offs are, focus on the outer banks there, and then when the incoming tide comes out, look around the Northwest Keys, Milky Pass, those big rock structure. So, Captain Matt, get better soon, my friend. All right, so now let's go ahead and go. You ready to go to Zack Zachary, the one and only? All right.
You gotta be kidding me.
All right. So we're going to go back to Captain Zack here in a few minutes. And I tell you what, that Maverick boat, I was impressed. You know, I was always been a, hey, who's Billy?
Yep.
Here, this is Deanna, Zachary. Can you give that to Brianna? Maybe they can figure it out together. The Maverick boat. You said earlier, I'm a flat bottom boat. You saw a lot of them here. I don't think the people know the advantage of that V shape at the front, but the whole flat bottom. Still a flat bottom boat. That V shape, what is that V shape for in the front?
So the reason that they do that is that they created the chimes, which keeps the boat real dry when it's rough. But when the boat is actually in a poling situation, all of that is under the water. So you don't have that traditional bow slap when you're poling into the wind. But then as you get back towards the console, then it's flat. It's literally flat. And by running a big jack plate, being able to jack up the 70 horsepower motor, you can run really, really shallow, as you've seen.
Yeah.
It pulls in about 5 inches of water on hard bottom.
I saw y'all take off today, some stuff that I was waiting to hear it.
I was mind blown, you know, when he said, "All right, let's go ahead and take off." I looked down and said, all right. You know, I'm not going to question Rick Murphy. I told myself that a million times, so happy I didn't.
It's like I always say, it's not my boat.
Yep.
No.
Billy, did they get things?
They're working.
Okay, all right. So
The best part was watching Rick ride on the front of the boat while you were driving.
you gotta do what you get. That's a weight distribution. You should have put me on the front of the boat though.
I was gonna say that
Well,
backwards.
I could do that, but then we'd be like this.
Yeah, you'd be noticing.
Thanks, Rick.
This is not cool. You know?
Ready?
Hey, Zach.
All right. So let's go ahead and go over to Zachary.
Is his name really Zach Zachary?
I'm assuming you guys can hear me on there. I'm not exactly sure because I can't hear anybody on your end. Well, let's just go ahead and start with it.
Oh, Zach, can you hear us now?
Yep, gotcha.
There he is.
All right.
Can you hear him?
And yes.
Hey, Zach, I got one thing to say
with
with all this technology, bub. It's a good thing you're pretty. We say that about a lot of the girls, too, you know.
I got just a little bit more hair than you do.
Zach, we were all over today. There's fish all over. There's a lot of snook out there. Tell us, what's happening in that Crystal River region going into Ozello?
So basically, I started up in Crystal River today, picked up out of Crystal. My first target species today was trout. We're not going to get into that, but we bounced all over the place, got some trout, whatever. When I went to move for the redfish, it was later in the day. The tide was a little behind today. I started, got a couple bites here and there, lost a couple fish in crates. So I started thinking, my goodness, starts getting the warmer water temperature. You know what? For mullet. So that's the first thing I did. I just started riding down the bank, looking for mullet. I see dolphins off in the distance. I said, you know what? They're looking for mullet. Went right back in behind where those, let it settle a bit. The mullet started, jumping around normal again. And then we started throwing out shrimp. Like you guys were talking earlier, there's a lot of pinfish out there right now, so they're absolutely destroying those shrimp. If you throw your shrimp in the water, it's sitting there maybe 5, 10 seconds, 15 tops, and then yours is gone, basically. So I went to the cooler, cut some mullet, started throwing mullet chunks over there. Those redfish, the mullet chunks, went in there, got the pinfish, hooked them just like bluebird in the tail, so they're kind of swimming away from you. as soon as we started dumping those pinfish over there, we started hooking up quick. All right. So basically what I'm looking for when it's coming from, winter into spring and then even into summer, when that water temperature goes up, I'm going to start hitting all those outside islands where you got water moving, and then specifically where you're seeing those mullet. That's exactly what you're going to be wanting to look for. Just like you guys were saying, those redfish follow those mullet around. I don't know why. My thing is I'm thinking those mullet are eating on the bottom, and they're kicking up shrimp and crabs and pinfish and stuff like that, and then those redfish are just right there behind them to suck up whatever's coming off the bottom. So again, look for those big schools of mullet, and that's typically what I'm going to be targeting. So if you guys are fishing artificial, I don't fish artificial a whole lot, just solely because most of my clients, I mean, their cast on the best days can be like 25, 30 feet. Okay, so I got a lob of big punka bait up there. But if you're using artificials, there's more things that you can use, multiple different colors. And it all depends on the bottom and how much grass is in the water column with what I'm going to throw. Morning and evening, and you hear me preach about this every single time on the Fish Talk. Top waters are great. I love bone white. I love any kind of natural mullet color, greenback, anything like that. That's going to work great. And this is going to work just fine if there's not a lot of grass in the water column. If there's a lot of grass in the water column, guys, you trouble it. You're just going to pick that stuff up, and then the bait is not going to be able to work properly, and those fish are not going to eat it. Towards later in the day, mid-morning, all the way through until the evening, if you're fishing an area with mud or like that turtle grass or anything like that, you can get away with just a basic jig head like this. This happens to be a Little John XL in watermelon red. You can basically use any color you want. This is my favorite color. Two colors in my tackle: watermelon red, and then it's going to be white. There's only one. As long as there's a lot of structure. If there is structure and you still like using those jig heads, guys, you just bounce along the bottom a little quicker, and it's not going to get caught up on the rocks. Enough about a lot on Friday Night Fish Talk is Texas rig. I absolutely love fishing this when you're throwing way back up into the mangroves, on oyster bars, on rock piles, anything like that. You can see how this is just, I've got the bullet weight inside the fisherman's loop there, so it's not moving at all. And then this hook comes through the nose, comes around the side here, and this has got a little groove in the top of it, which is nice. You don't have to bury this hook inside this bait. When that fish hits it, that hook's just going to come up and expose itself just like that. So he's going to get hooked, and you're good to go there. So basically, that's what I've got for redfish. If we have a couple more cold fronts and stuff like that come through, which is probably unlikely just because we're so late in the season now, but if we do and the water temperature does drop drastically, maybe try and look back in those potholes again, like I was talking about in the wintertime. Just like Rick was saying, that mud heats up and that mud stays warm for a long time, and so they're going to push back into those holes. As the day warms up, they're going to move out of those holes. They're going to move back out to the coast there where there's a lot of moving water, a lot of bait, and that's where you're going to catch those fish. And then another thing for artificials, live bait, is there's multiple ways you can use it. You can, like Lou was saying, hook it through the tail, pitch it right up close to the structure. And if you guys actually, when you throw it up there, if you keep your line relatively tight, and just let it barely feed through your fingers, that fish is going to want to swim away from you. So even if you cast 2 to 3 feet from the bank, you can pinch that line a little bit and get that mud minnow or that pinfish to swim, and it's going to swim right to that structure. And then when it gets close to the structure, basically just bring your rod tip up and hold him from going in the structure. So he's just going to sit there and wiggle right in the water column, and that's typically when you're going to get your strike. And then also, just like Lou was saying, you can use the trusty old Cajun Thunder. They work great. Pitch it down the bank. What I would typically do is position yourself to where you can throw off to your left or to your right, whatever the current's doing, and let that bobber drift all the way down those mangroves, preferably, no further than, I would say, 3 feet off the bank, because those fish are going to be hugged right up against that bank, when the water's a little bit higher. And other than that, that's pretty much got it covered. Oh, and for cut bait, guys, you don't have to just use mullet and ladyfish. You can use cut pinfish. You catch lizardfish out there sometimes. One of my favorite baits is cut lizardfish, believe it or not. So any kind of fresh cut bait is going to work perfectly fine for your redfish, and it's also cut it big enough to where you could throw it out there and those pinfish can peck at it and eat it away, and then that redfish is able to come and find it. I actually like pinfish eating at that cut bait because it's almost like you've got your very own mini little chum bag on the end of your line. Those fish are just eating it up, throwing that scent into the water column for redfish to smell it. He's going to come over and snatch it up.
Good deal, Zach. Man, as always, very detailed. I just learned a lot there, so I think we can use some of the information tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Why don't we just...
Man, throw this. Just give it a shot tomorrow. See what happens, man. I'd love for you guys to catch a big one on it.
Zach, Rick wants to know where you can buy some of those bullet weights at.
Oh man, this one's a special one here. This one's a special one.
Awesome, Captain Zachary with Tried and True Outdoor Adventures. Hey Zach, if somebody wants to book a trip with you, which I highly recommend, how do they do so?
The easiest and fastest way to get a hold of me is give me a call. 352-228-9225. Again, that's 352-228-9225. Also, you can find me online at crystalriverfloridafishing.com. You can go right on there, super easy. Click the book now button, pick your day, and we're out there. And then also you guys can find me on Instagram at Captain Zack Zachary.
Beautiful. Captain Zach, thank you as always. All right, man, we'll see you out in the water tomorrow.
All right, guys, thank you.
All right, brother.
All right, guys, so there he is. You got your reports, the north, south, and inland. What we're going to do next is we're going to go over to Captain Billy, who's going to give you the airboat scouting report from Jeff's... Oh, we're not doing that. I'm sorry. Catch of the week. We're going to do catch of the week next. Are we ready to catch the week? Well, before we do catch of the week, let's go ahead and jump into the trivia question for tonight for the Reel of Fortune. All right. The trivia question is very simple. Very, very simple. This is for all the people that come through here and hang out at the marina. We have a little rustic colored dog that runs around here. What is her name? The first 14 people to answer that question is going to get added to the Reel of Fortune. You're going to win a new Toadfish koozie cup and then one of our brand new dry fit shirts of your choice, color, and size. So the first 14 people is going to be added to the Reel of Fortune. And then Captain Rick, you could be our guest to spin that reel. Be like Vanna White.
Oh, yeah? I'm Vanna? So I spin it now?
People are going to start answering the question, hopefully right. There it is. There's the shirt there. And then, so Sean's going to add their names to the board. And then we'll do that towards the very end. But so let's go ahead and jump into the catch of the week. And let's see what... Alright, so we've got John with a nice pair of little red fish there, nice gold color to them. This is the Extreme Decals catch of the week. Extreme Decals made that sweet casting sign, and
Nice.
they are a major part of our success here. They're
There's
very
a nice
crisp.
snooker.
Oh wow, that's David Delaire. That is that's his personal best. He's an avid kayak fisherman, and he went and grabbed that one. So, all right. Let's see what we got.
So what else?
What we got here? That's Jason.
With a redfish?
Yeah, nice redfish. All right. Brianna's doing some changes on the screen here. Jess, all right. So just a little information on Jessica. She posts fish every single week. That is who you should be fishing with tomorrow. All right. Now we got yeah, you got the just those trim tabs. Steve, nice Jack Crevalle in his kayak.
I like Steve's hat, man.
It's an Ozello Keys Marina hat too.
That's right.
Do you wear those types of hats?
No, they don't last long as 65 in the Pathfinder.
Look at that red. That's the redfish we need right there. That's a Captain Louie. That's a little cold there.
Yeah.
That was Lots of photos posted, so it looks like we are going to get to do Captain Billy's scouting report with the green screen. Is that what they're telling me? The board's already filled? Nope, we're not. All right. So, So Rick, just show you how this works. So these are all the people that answered the question correctly. The answer to the question is Marina. So, they're still talking about fish. Look at all those fish.
Been a heck of a week of fishing.
We had nice weather.
Yeah.
Pretty weather brings pretty fish.
That was that last bit of cool that we had.
Captain Teddy's Amish crew.
All right, nice looking snook. Beautiful
So
snook.
let me ask you this, Gary. I got a question for you. So typically, I know what the rate is for the fishing guides in the Keys as well as in Miami. Do you guys do half day, quarter day, full day, and what are the rates?
Yeah, absolutely. So your typical 4-hour trip is considered the half hour or the half day.
Okay.
The going rate right now is $400 for half a day, and that covers 2 guests.
Gotcha.
And then some guides are different. Usually $75 an additional person for the additional tackle and fuel you have to use, and the different amenities you have to provide. And
Does
also,
that include shrimp?
that includes shrimp.
Do the people bring their own lunch?
They bring their own lunch. Almost every guide I know does provide water, though. So main reason for that is to make sure that our guests are staying replenished. So you know that's a big thing. I know, like on our trips, we have cases and hundreds of cases of water in our warehouse. We never, it's the last thing you want to do. It's hot, salt water. Salt's getting your skin into your throat. Stay replenished. Stay safe out there. So. Oh, there's a pompano that was caught yesterday, by the way. I meant to show you that picture. You were talking about pompano.
We saw that one tailing.
Yeah, yep, that was pretty cool.
It was cool.
It's airboat time.
I don't know which side of this I'm supposed to be on. Over there.
So we're over at the green screen. This is Jeff's tuning performance.
It is Jeff's Tuning Performance for our airboat fishing report on everything that possibly I might be seeing. And honestly, there is a lot of fish movement. Running the airboats, I'm running anywhere from South Crystal River, anywhere from there to North Homosassa. Coming through the areas, I am really honestly seeing a lot of bigger black drum rolling through the Little Homosassa area into Sam's Bayou, and that is serious. Seeing some massive wakes moving through. Got 2 eyes on the black drum to confirm what they were. Coming out of Little Homosassa, and as I work my way north, coming out of Sam's Bayou at this point, there is a few nice little oyster bars. And I always end up saying Jacob, sorry sir. But those oyster bars that he likes to fish right out in the front, that is a hot spot. I'm starting to see a lot of different boaters there, a lot of people moving all through that area, and supposedly catching redfish and snook, and I can believe the snook aspect of it. There is a bunch of snook in these waters. Playing down towards the Keys at the very lower here, the St. Martin's Reef area, there's snook galore. Honestly, I'm seeing probably 10 to 15 snook per redfish that's out there. Not saying the redfish aren't there, just the snook are thick at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of trout moving through the flats on the lower tides. I don't know where they're heading on the higher tides. That's up to you guys to find. Now, I don't know where they're at. I'm not out there fishing. I am out there running the airboats. The fish are everywhere. From the St. Martin's Keys all the way up to possibly Greymare Pass, playing on all the outer islands, playing in the mouths of the rivers. That's where you're going to find the majority of the fish. That's where I'm seeing them. Hopefully you guys are getting out there to catch them. It has been a beautiful week out there as far as the airboating goes. I'm sure the fishing is just as hot. But yeah, playing in the mouths of the rivers right now seems to be the best areas that I am seeing them. And honestly, I'm pretty jealous of Captain Rick and Gary getting out to actually fish them. Captain Louis the same way. I'm ready to be out there and do some fishing personally. But honestly, what I'm gearing up for the most is scallop season. I'm getting very excited for that to come. All these fish got me excited, but as hot as it is, I'm ready to go do some swimming for some scallops. If anybody's in the mood for doing some scalloping, you could always hit us up at River Adventure Tours and be able to give us a shout. And here's a little promo video of a scalloping from last year. It's looking good to be for this year, so we're excited to get out there.
Alrighty, guys, so the Wheel of Fortune's blocking me, but luckily you have this beautiful face here. Captain Rick, why don't you do the honors of spinning this wheel, and whoever's name this falls on, you're going to win a...
I'm going to do it like the Price is Right, get the big swing.
That's it. Thomas. Is that Thomas Roberts? Thomas Roberts, congratulations. You just won a new OKM apparel shirt and a free toadfish koozie, the one of the suction cup kind. So super excited, guys. Thank you once again. We are Captain Rick. I cannot thank you enough for everything.
My pleasure.
Not just being here and helping us spread the knowledge, but spending time with me and our team, and going out and enjoying the different eateries we have in the area.
So Gary, we got a live audience are coming back this year because we've gotten the approval that we can have them in the studio. So I'd like to invite you and your crew, as well as anybody else from here that wants to come down and be on the show, the Florida Insider Fishing Report. You just let us know. We'll set up a week, and it'll be dedicated to the Ozello Marina staff as well as the customers.
That's awesome. I would love to. I cannot thank you enough for that. The one time that I've been there, how you guys all work together, everything flows, everyone's comfortable with each other. So that would do our crew a lot to just, all see that. So yeah. We're super excited. Cannot thank you enough.
Let's just plan on it.
All right, brother.
All right, and I'll buy the pizza.
All right, deal. Thank you once again for another night of Friday Night Fish Talk. Captain Louie, thank you. Everyone in the studio, thank you guys, and we will see you next Friday.
Peace.
I think it's done. All right.
Love those awkward moments.